Folks, as you know, we're just hours away from President Donald Trump. He's set to address the nation.
That's right. The president will address Congress and the nation during his State of the Union address tonight. And NBC News' Tom Llamas joining us live from D.C. tonight. Tom, thank you so much for being here with us. We know that all eyes will be on the president tonight. Well, some of the eyes. We know that some Democrats will be boycotting this. But what are you hearing about the key themes he's expected to hit? Not long ago, he was here in Georgia in Marjorie Taylor Greene's old district talking about the economy.
Hey there, Faith and Ron. First of all, so great to be with you guys and to be with your viewers. Look, I think we're going to hear a lot about the economy tonight, right? That's no secret. The president really wants to sell his economic agenda to the voters as we get closer and closer to the midterms. I actually just finished up a lunch event with President Trump. The president does this every year with news anchors from the different networks. He says he's pressing for a deal with Iran as well, and he previewed some of his economic message for tonight, including possible new tax cuts. But can the president convince America he's making a dent in their cost of living, the cost of beef, the cost of coffee, heating oil, heating energy, electricity, still, all those things still very high for consumers. We'll talk about that and much more when we join you here in a bit on Nightly News.
And Tom, with the midterms right around the corner, we're watching very closely for what the president says about election IDs and claims of interference. What do you expect tonight?
Look, I know there for your viewers in Atlanta, you want to know what's going on in Fulton County as well. I'm sure we may hear about something of what's happening. The president has said for a long time, right, that there was widespread fraud in the 2020 presidential election, which he lost. That has been proven not to be true. There have been several court cases, dozens of them actually, and the president and his team have lost in nearly all of them. So it'll be interesting to see what he says and if he wants to try to change the voter ID rules at all. But it's unclear if he's going to be able to have enough time to try to pass through any of that in Congress. He's talked about nationalizing elections, but again, other Republicans have said that's not a great idea, both in the Senate and in the House. So we'll have to kind of hone in and see what he says tonight in the State of the Union. From having lunch with him today, I get the sense he's going to want to talk a lot about what's happening with the economy, touch a little bit about Iran, and talk about that military operation in Venezuela where they extracted the former leader there, Nicolas Maduro. I think we'll hear all about that. And, it stands to reason that some of the Supreme Court justices will be in the chambers. Usually they are for the State of the Union. That might set him off about the tariff decision that did not go his way on the highest court in the land. So we may hear some of that as well, guys.
Yeah, big surprise decision for the president. Tom Llamas joining us from D.C. Thank you so much, Tom. We truly appreciate it. Hey, guys, you can watch Tom lead NBC News specialized coverage of the State of the Union right here on 11 Alive and streaming on 11 Alive Plus. That starts tonight at 9 o'clock.